This is one of those funny video log videos which kind of makes money about something that complains about what people make money about, which is outstanding. So there's so many YouTubers who say SwiftUI is the way to go, and they've been doing so for the last 2 years and longer. They're also selling courses and saying this is the future. And actually, it seems to be, from Apple, this indeed is the future, as in Apple are pushing more and more of WDC's content and more of the direction of travel towards SwiftUI, which essentially is fine. But as programmers, we should be thinking first and foremost about the user and the user experience. There should be no reason that we're cutting off users because they're using pre-iOS 14. And actually, for lots of features in SwiftUI, we're talking about iOS 15. So for example, passing the focus down the responder chain. Okay, it's not the responder chain in SwiftUI, but still, it's a basic feature which I think is required for making a signing in form, which is going to include most apps. Really tricky before iOS 15. So what are we suggesting? That we leave users behind, just iOS 15, or you can't use this application? Might be okay if you're a solo developer. I don't really think so. In a corporation, it doesn't sound like a good idea, and it's not a good way of thinking, of saying it doesn't matter if you're not a user on the latest version. There are also technical things to think about. How to handle navigation, for example. It's always been tricky in SwiftUI and feels like that community and the bloggers who are making money out of it haven't really found the solution yet, which means the larger companies aren't really going all in on SwiftUI, and they might be wrapping SwiftUI in a UIKit container and saying, oh, we're using SwiftUI, dipping toes in, which in a way is absolutely fine. But by saying SwiftUI is the future and this is all that we're going to look for from this YouTube and blogging crowd, I think is not quite correct. We're not in a situation where we should be deleting all projects and going all in on SwiftUI, because also I don't think Apple are doing the same. I think Apple have produced some of their native apps in SwiftUI, not very many, and most are still written in UIKit and actually in Objective-C. So I don't think there's any real case for saying UIKit is going away. As ever, this is one of the things that depends on your context. There's no reason to say that you can't create your own SwiftUI apps from the ground up and they're not fantastic and fast. It's all about looking at the context. If you're working in an organization, look at the team you have, bringing people on board and thinking of that outcome. And I would say, first and foremost, for the user. No matter which company you work for, which consultancy gig you might have, or if you're a solo developer, actually you're closer to the most important people who are the customer. So you really need to think how the customer benefits from technological changes. And please don't get swept away by people and their latest course.